And we are very glad to welcome Madanalasa Devi Dasi with us. She is originally from Croatia, is that right? And
yes.
She is now in Germany in Golokadam, which is somewhere down the south in a, in the midst of a forest next to a creek. There is a very nice temple of Sri Sri Radha Madan Mohan, and she is serving there. And tonight she will be speaking about Bhagavad-gītā text 432. And we are very glad to have you with us. And I will mute myself, but before I do that, I would briefly like to remind you, if you have any questions, you can type them into the chat box or wait until the end, then you can unmute yourselves and speak into the microphone. We will also be putting an upload onto our YouTube channel later on. Hare Krishna.
So Hare Krishna, please all accept my humble obeisances, and thank you for inviting me, and thank you for coming on this Zoom meeting. So we will speak about Bhagavad-gītā, as Karuna Shakti Prabhu said, chapter 4, verse 32. So before we start, I will just say shortly some prayers for introduction. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmritam Yena Tasme Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. So I will read Sanskrit translation and their comment. Evam bahu-vidhā yajñā vitatā brahmaṇo mukhe karma-jān viditān sarvān evam jñātvā vimokṣyase. Translation. All these different types of sacrifice are approved by the Vedas, and all of them are born of different types of work. Knowing them as such, you will become liberated. Purport. Different types of sacrifice, as discussed above, are mentioned in the Vedas to suit the different types of worker. Because men are so deeply absorbed in the bodily concept, these sacrifices are so arranged that one can work either with the body, with the mind, or with the intelligence. But all of them are recommended for ultimately bringing about liberation from the body. This is confirmed by the Lord herewith from his own mouth. So it's a short purport, and now we are in the middle of sacrifices and yajñas and all these things that are actually, mentioned in the Vedas. And somehow, because on Sunday we have appearance day of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I wanted to connect this verse with his appearance day, and spoke a little bit about his message of love of God that he brought to us. So I hope it would be interesting, inspiring to you and also to me. So before I start, please give me your blessings that I can say something that is relevant and inspiring. So when we see this purport, and when we actually look this chapter, previous chapters in Bhagavad-gītā, we see that Krishna is actually explaining many types of different yogas, karma yoga, jnana yoga, buddhi yoga, bhakti yoga. So he's mentioning lots of different, let's say, paths and methods how to live spiritual life in this world. And we can see here, particularly in this verse, many types of sacrifices are mentioned, and actually it's mentioned that in Vedas there are descriptions of different kind of work, different kind of activity, different kind of ritual and spiritual practice that person can perform. And by this performing of these things, he can elevate gradually on spiritual platform. So why is it like that? Why there is like so many things? Why there are different rules? Why there are different regulation and different actually paths mentioned in the same scripture? And we know that the goal of all of this, as Prabhupada mentioned, is like, okay, one step is liberation, but the ultimate goal is this love of God, this awakening our true nature, awakening our true relationship that we all have with God. And why, if this is a goal, there are mentioned so many these like, let's say lower, but not in negative context, but these like lower ways, lower paths. And the answer is, we can see in this world and we can see around us that every one of us is different. We have a different background, we have different character, different nature. And what to say about just this life? It's like life after life, we are like accumulating our karma and our activities, which are like result of them are coming now and things like that. So we can see that we are very unique. And when we look, like if we look just this universe, and what to say about many thousands universes, like billions and millions universes that exist, if we look just this universe, there is like no soul like us. There is no living entity like us. And if we see like even flowers that look the same, for example, if you look two roses, they look the same, but they are different. Something is different in each rose. So we are all have our unique form and our unique nature. And because of that, because Vedas are like so opulent and have like this absolute knowledge, absolute truth, Vedas are giving opportunity to everyone to make this spiritual progress. So on whatever level we are now, if we are maybe on this beginning growth level and very like materially attached, or if we are like somewhere in the middle, but like, you know, if someone is struggling with something, he can find instructions for himself in Vedas, or if someone is pure devotee, Vedas are also for him. So they are like, how to say, like hugging. But in this way, I want to say, I miss word in English, but Vedas take care about everyone and give knowledge to whatever spiritual level, on whatever spiritual level we are. So that's why somewhere it's like mentioned this karma yoga, just like work, whatever you're working, give results to the Krishna. And like, you know, in India, many these rituals are mentioned, many mantras, like worshipping of the demigods, but actually it's all here so that we can purify by these activities, that we can come on this platform of sattva guna and like goodness, that we become pious, that we live good life, you know, in virtue. And then when we come to this platform, then it's more easier to go further, to develop further on spiritual path. Because if we are like in ignorance, let's say like this, if we are in these lower states of minds, if we are I don't know, acting not moral, if we are intoxicating and, you know, like eating meat and things like that, it's very hard then to from this like lower stage come to this the highest stage. So Vedas are describing like gradually we are purifying by all these activities to one day really develop this love of God. And we can see also when we come, for example, in Hare Krishna movement, or when we start to reading Bhagavad-gītā and practicing chanting, there also we are meeting with some rules and regulations. And Srila Prabhupada really gave us these simple rules. Okay, they sound simple. It's not simple. We are all like sometimes struggling, but you know, like these 4 regulative principles and like prescribed numbers of rounds, and like he also was supporting us to develop this hygiene, like cleanliness from inside, from outside, and things like that. And there are different rules and things we should do, we should avoid. And in yoga, for example, you also have this yama and niyama, things you do, things you don't do. And all these things are like helping us on our spiritual path, so that we can really like become more clean, as I said, inside and outside, and then more easily like, you know, develop ourselves more easily, come to Krishna like gradually. But all these rules, all these regulations, and in the Vedas, all these like what Vedas are advising us, like do this yajñā, do that yajñā, like worship your predecessors, like this, like family which die, and things like that. Like it's all secondary and it's all helping us. It's not the goal. So all these rules, all these regulations, they are not the goal. They're just like helpers on the way. But we need to be focused that our goal is this love of God, actually, and to creating this emotion toward Krishna. And in Vedas itself also says that all these rules and regulation are just servants of 2 most important rules and regulation. And these 2 most important things in our life are always remember Krishna and never forget him. So whatever can help us, we want to have in our life, and we are using, we are doing, we are serving according to that, but we should know that it's not a goal. It's not a goal that I don't know, important because I'm creating this cleanliness and this like clean state of mind and things like that, but I'm doing this so that one day I can have this clear consciousness and clear mind with which I can serve Krishna. So Radha and Krishna, they are our own goal. And yeah, somehow I wanted to just explain why there are so many different things in Vedas, just like to help us, and also to embrace, this is the word I wanted to actually say now, I remember, all kind of people, and help all the people on whatever level they are right now. And we can also see that's why in this world also there are many different religions, there are many different occupations, many different things, because we are all like very unique. And also in the end, when we one day become pure devotees, also we will have our own nature. It doesn't mean that we will become all like this, you know, like sitting in some yogic posture with closed eyes and we will meditating. No, we will still have our own nature and our unique relationship with Krishna, but in pure way, in way which is like colored by love, this pure love, prema. So yeah, that talks a lot how actually Krishna is also, as God, merciful, because he's giving us all opportunity, and in Bhagavad-gītā he's saying actually all the ways are like in the end like coming to me, like whatever path someone is on whichever path someone is going, in the end he comes to me, something like that. I cannot now remember in English, but yeah, so he's so merciful that that he gave many varieties many different instructions, even to Arjuna. He said, I gave you now so many possibilities, now you choose. But Arjuna in the end chose this path of pure love. He wanted to go shorter way. And when I mentioned now this shorter way, I was also thinking about this lecture and how to involve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this lecture. I was thinking we are all born in, okay, maybe I think I saw, maybe there are some people who are born in India or Indian family, but most of us, I think at least, I will talk about myself. I'm born in the West. I didn't know about all this, like about Vedas, about these rituals, about yajñā, about all this principle. I didn't have such pious life, or I didn't went through maybe some like spiritual process or something like that. That I made this like gradual. Like it's explained in Vedas, this gradual development, and then I asked myself, but how then I could come in the contact with this the highest knowledge, actually, because this knowledge about which we are speaking now is the highest. It's actually the topmost knowledge, and nothing is higher than this knowledge. No knowledge about liberation, because this knowledge which we have now, it's the knowledge by which it's actually the key by which we can buy God. So with this knowledge about bhakti yoga, this knowledge which Prabhupada gave us, we are like buying Krishna, and he becomes our servant, because Krishna is like servant of his devotees, and we are now learning how to love Krishna. And by mercy of Srila Prabhupada and our spiritual master, they are giving us instruction. We are chanting, and gradually this love will develop more and more in our heart if we are really sincere, if we are following, if we are chanting, if we are serving other people. This love will awake, and by this love Krishna will be conquered. And then he doesn't know what to do. He is like, he will do anything for his devotees. So this is really the topmost knowledge. And that's why in Bhagavad-gītā, it's also put this description like in the middle of Bhagavad-gītā, because it's the most secret knowledge, but still it's revealed to us. Krishna revealed himself in Bhagavad-gītā and revealed something about this knowledge, and by mercy of Srila Prabhupada, pure devotee who has this key of Krishna's heart, he gave it to us. So I was thinking how we are lucky, and why me? Why not someone else? Why not my neighbor? So there are many possible answers. Maybe some pious activities in the previous life. Maybe I met someone, maybe some agyata sukriti, like some pious activity I even didn't know I did, or something like that. But also I think the answer is like this, in one prayer it says like, by an unimaginable good fortune, I got this mercy of my spiritual master. We all got mercy of Srila Prabhupada, and we are now here, and we have this opportunity to speak about it. But actually the first person somehow who revealed this knowledge was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, God himself, Radha Krishna himself. And because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Radha and Krishna with sentiment of Radha, and because Srimati Radharani is the most merciful, and she's more merciful than even Krishna. She cannot, she always wants to give. She's like, if you imagine mother, like the best mother in the world, not some bad examples, but the best mother, she only wants to give to her child. And when child is sad, mother is sad, and she always thinks about benefit of the child, and she will give everything to the child. And Srimati Radharani is also like that, and she always thinks everyone is such a better devotee, everyone is is serving Krishna better than me, and I want to also help this person. And whoever comes to Srimati Radharani, she's never rejecting prayers. And that's why, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna with sentiments of Radha, and actually Radharani's mood is in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's why he's like the top merciful personality ever. And this knowledge he revealed. Actually, when Krishna appeared in Dvapara Yuga, he, as Bhaktivedanta Thakur said, gave us this object of worship, and it's him. But when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in Kali Yuga, he gave us the process how to achieve this object of worship. So in this way, this knowledge was then transported through Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who gave this knowledge in the heart of his most confident followers and most confident, how to say, like followers, but I missed this one word. But like 6 Goswamis and Swarup Damodar Goswami and others, and through them, like through 6 Goswamis and other acharyas, like knowledge was then transmitted to our like previous acharyas as Bhaktivedanta Thakur, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, and before also Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, who also wrote lots of books, and then through Srila Prabhupada. And then through our spiritual masters, it came to us. So we are so fortunate. And actually, that's why Bhaktivedanta Thakur said that that actually Krishna is Ishtadev, like worshipable deity of Dvapara Yuga, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is worshipable deity of Kali Yuga, because he personally came 500 years ago, just like to give and we can see, like Krishna says in Bhagavad-gītā, sarvadharma parityaja, like surrender, like leave all religion and surrender to me, and I will help you. And Lord Chaitanya is not telling this. So Krishna put some, let's say, like he's bargaining a little bit. He said, you first need to do this, and this, and then then I will, take care, then I will protect you. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's not like this. He's just like, come to me. He's saying, I'm giving this, I'm giving all this love, I'm giving this prema for free. And only you, what is like, what you need to have, what is your qualification? Your qualification is just a little faith to embrace this holy name, to embrace this process, and I'm giving you mercy. And in this way, because we are in contact with such famous, such amazing Guru Parampara, which is coming like from Srila Prabhupada and has roots in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We don't need to do some special rituals. We don't need to do some sacrifices. We don't need to think about all these things. Srila Prabhupada just gave us this without asking anything. He just said, chant holy name, eat prasadam, and do some service, do something practical. And he said, I'm promising you, this life is your last life, and if you are following this, you will obtain this love for which we are all seeking. And I wanted to share with you, while we are speaking about this, something beautiful actually that Bhaktivedanta Thakur brought. Just give me please 1 second. I think I put it's here. It's something beautiful that Bhaktivedanta Thakur, like so many decades ago, said, and which is now coming true. So he said, like, Lord Chaitanya did not advent himself to liberate only a few men of India. Rather, his main objective was to emancipate all living entities of all countries throughout the entire universe and preach the eternal religion. Lord Chaitanya said in Chaitanya Bhagavat, "In every town, country, and village, my name will be sung." There is no doubt that this unquestionable order will come to pass. Very soon, the unparalleled path of Harinam Sankirtan will be propagated all over the world. Oh, for that day when the fortunate English, French, Russian, German, and American people will take up banners, mridangas, and karatals amid raised kirtan through their streets and towns. When will that day come? Oh, for that day when fair-skinned men from their side will raise up the chanting of Jai Sachinandana, Jai Sachinandana Ki Jai, and joy with the Bengali devotees. So this Bhaktivedanta Thakur brought in his time, and he was saying that this message of Lord Chaitanya will like spread all over the world. He mentioned like that people from Germany, we are now in Germany, France, and yeah, all Europe, all the world will sing Lord Chaitanya's holy name. And we can see now it's happening actually by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. We have now this opportunity to discuss Bhagavad-gītā, to prepare nicely for Gaur Purnim, and yeah, be part of this. And my spiritual master, Kadamba Kanana Swami, he's always saying like we are now also living in Chaitanya Charitamrita because it's written in Chaitanya Charitamrita that Vyasadeva will in the future write like more about Chaitanya Charitamrita. It means actually we are now in Sankirtan movement of Srila Prabhupada, and this Chaitanya Charitamrita is continuing. It didn't finish, so we are now part of it somehow. So this is so amazing. And when we speak about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we can see how merciful he was during his life and how he just spread this prema, and especially in combination of Chaitanya and Nityananda. If Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said like no, or he was in some special mood that he was a little bit angry, if Nityananda was there you are safe. So if everything falls, you always have mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, because it says he's acting like drunk man, and he has his cup of mercy, and this cup is full of mercy, full of prema. And when drunk man has glass, he's so drunk he cannot keep this glass, and this prema, this alcohol in the case of a drunk man is like splitting all around. And in the same way, Lord Nityananda is also drunk by this transcendental love, and when he's walking he also cannot keep his cup in the hand, but this prema, this mercy is like also seeping away and falling on all living entities there which are around. And right now we are, thank God, around, so we can also get like some drops of this mercy. And yeah, like I also recall some pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, which actually give us proof now that what I'm speaking is true. We can all remember Jaga and Madai, who were the most fallen people. Like they were very sinful, but in the end they were also delivered, and they became like such a pure devotees that one of them, they actually both of them like had their own disciplic succession after they were like delivered and when they got this mercy. So you can imagine, like, and it's nice because when we see that even people who are not so, like, if we are reading about Ramananda Rai, about 6 Goswamis, they are very close associates and they are saintly personalities, like eternally. But when we see people like Jaga and Madai, it gives us also some hope. So if Jaga and Madai could, I can also. And I also like this story when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was passing this Jharikanda forest, and okay, you all know this story about animals in that forest that also got this mercy. They heard kirtan of Lord Chaitanya when he was passing by and singing Krishna 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 He. You all know this song, and he was maddened with this love, and he was going through this forest, and animals also, these souls in that animal body also like became purified and became full of love. They start crying, hugging themselves, and even like these animals that are enemy to each other, lions and deer, they were hugging and happy and in this unity of holy names. And then later he went through this Jharikanda, and even today there are these tribes that are living, people from these tribes, and even these people from the tribes that were not so like educated, not so like, they lived more like, you know, forest people, maybe something like gypsies these days in this way. But they also, when they saw Chaitanya walking, they like start to giving him presents. They were amazed by his complexion, by his form, by his singing, and even he delivered all these tribes just by walking and distributing this prema. So he didn't ask for qualification, he just came and gave. And there is also one incident, I'm not sure if it was with Srivas or Mukunda, but some of his associates, they were passing by next to some bar, and there were like people who were there, like, you know, drinking, and maybe, you know, like in Germany, these bar people are drinking, and you know, like it's dark and things like that. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was passing, and he saw that people, they saw him, and they saw him through the window, and then came out, and they start to talking between each other, like, oh, I appreciate so much actually this Chaitanya, he's such a good dancer, he's singing so nice. And they became, by talking about him, so so how to say, like excited, and they started to singing and dancing Hari Bol, Hari Bol. And in this way also Lord Chaitanya delivered them. So these are like amazing stories, very close to us. If we are like hearing stories from Mahabharata or like other Puranas about Bali Maharaj, it's like amazing stories and very inspiring. Dhruva Maharaj, and you know, all this saintly personality is so nice, but sometimes it's like too high for us to really connect, because we see where we are now and which level we are now and how we are maybe now struggling. But then when we read Chaitanya Charitamrita, and when we read about Nityananda, how merciful he is, about all these associates of Lord Chaitanya, and that gives us actually this real hope. And because it's appearance day of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we can like really come in this mood of really humbly asking and crying for some drop of mercy from this place I was speaking. And like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is himself so merciful, and Nityananda himself is more merciful, but who is like more merciful than them? It's actually Srila Prabhupada who came and who gave us this, and who share with us all this. Because if he didn't come, we will never heard. I never heard. I studied history, you know, before, and I never heard about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I was learning the history of the whole like planet. We had like this world history, but I never heard 15th century. I only heard about, you know, Renaissance and what was happening, wars in the Europe, and little bit about China, but nothing about these happenings in Bengal, in Navadvip. So if Srila Prabhupada didn't come, it would be completely like hidden from me, this same knowledge. And we were like just reading a few days ago, like we have on Tuesdays regular Prabhupada Lilamrita about Srila Prabhupada's life, and how he was like dealing with people, and how he was like when he came to the West, he's really like Lord Chaitanya's associate, very, very close associate, because when I compare mercy of these personalities in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time and mercy of Srila Prabhupada, there is no difference actually, because yeah, Srila Prabhupada came to the West, he was sannyasi, he was like pure devotee, and he saw these people, these hippies, and they were like, yeah, smoking, you know, all day and hanging around, and don't do anything like constructive, let's say like this, and what to say like about some serious spiritual practice. And he just came and he tolerated everything, and he was just kind to everyone, and he knew how to deal with everyone. To some he was very soft, sometimes like we spoke about it, he was like a little bit strict, but he did for everyone's welfare because he was really well-wisher of all these people. And once when he was in India, then someone asked him, oh Swamiji, like, you know, you're Swami, and usually Swami's gurus, they know some tricks, they know some magic, so can you show us something magical, some trick, you know? And then Srila Prabhupada just showed his disciples, and he said, this is my magic, to change really hearts of people, and from people who are just like interesting in, you know, this like sense enjoyment and things like that, they became like first class people, and people who just wanted to serve this humanity, and giving love to people, help people. So it's like it's not maybe I think this is harder actually than do some trick, I don't know, manifest something, or I don't know, change, you know, like all these yogic powers. Yeah, it's amazing, but change someone's heart, it's more amazing. So somehow we are now here with this knowledge that is changing the heart, and we can see also in our daily life how actually this movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the singing of holy names, are changing also us, and how we are gradually, without doing any like strict sacrifices or any yagas, if we are just like sincere chanting and praying and serving each other, how our life is becoming more and more magnificent. So I would like to stop with this thought actually, and just to summarize, we had a verse about yajñā, actually about sacrifice, and yeah, so we are now here with like the most beautiful sacrifice, and it's singing of the holy names. And on Sunday we have this big festival, so somehow we all can now finish in this festival mood. And somehow I wanted to make this introduction that we can all prepare, we can all make our desires, our wishes to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and yeah, celebrate his birthday in the way he likes them more, like by congregational singing of the holy names. So maybe, I don't know if you have something in Berlin, if it's allowed, but if not, we always have Zoom, and there are many events on Zoom, and yeah, so always there is a chance, and it's nice, like even in these days when we cannot like associate so much with each other, still there is internet, so we can associate there. So Sankirtan movement, and actually this vision of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is spreading no matter what's happening outside, because actually this spiritual potency, the holy name, is so powerful that it has no limit. So thank you so much for listening and being here. And maybe if someone wants to ask something or comment something, I would like to hear you.
Thank you very much for this nice lecture. You spoke very nicely about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates. And I once heard a very nice quote, namely that Krishna's religion is the worship of his devotees. And if you think about it, it's true, because Krishna likes to worship his devotees. He likes to do something for his devotees, to serve his devotees. And before we go to the question section, maybe a short announcement before I forget it. Next week, we will have the honor of having Krishna Kshetra Swami as our speaker. He will speak about the next verse in the Bhagavad-gītā. And well, let's open up the question section. Maybe some of you have a question. You can type it into the chat box. Chat box is still more or less empty. Or you can just unmute yourselves. We have some regular participants, and I know some of them usually have 1 or 2 questions.
Yes, Prabhuji, I have a question. So, Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Thanks a lot for the nice lecture. So, as you have mentioned about different stages, right, in the sadhana or in the life, I would like to ask you that how one can understand that right now which stages he or she might be in, and how we can feel the reciprocation of Lord, as you have said, when we are doing these kind of sacrifices by doing chanting and loudly singing the Sankirtan movement, right? So doing Sankirtan movement, everyone all together in a congregation. So how we can feel the reciprocation, all that we are having something from the Lord. So these are my 2 questions. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you so much for being here. I know you from previous time when I gave lecture. Thank you. So yeah, I think if we are like observing ourselves, if we are like meditating a little bit and seeing what's happening in our life, how we are acting, how we are dealing with ourselves, with others, how our taste for spiritual things are growing. And in this way, we can see like where we are now. If we are like honest to ourselves and see if I have some desires, which desires and things like that. And also what is like, for me personally, the most important, that I have an association of people who are like my spiritual master, or someone who is like my mentor, or like spiritually like more elevated than me, and who can observe me like in very objective way, and who can give me feedback, and who can see, oh, Madanalasa, yeah, I see you're behaving like this and this, and you know, who can help me, who is like my well-wisher. And in this way, like, because sometimes I also, okay, I'm observing myself and I see, of course, some things, but sometimes I cannot see. And that's why the association for me, it's very important, because yes, someone else can see some things that maybe I want to hide from myself. And in this way, we are like acting. And in my experience, it's always nice to be gentle with ourselves and not be so harsh, because sometimes we want that we are pure devotees overnight and that everything is perfect, but it's also okay if everything is not perfect. And yeah, in this on Tuesday, what we are reading, Prabhupada Lilamrita, Prabhupada said it's not actually about this goal. It's not Krishna is not like the one who is looking results here, just looking our that we are trying and that we want, and he appreciates this a lot. So this is the most important, even if we fall, even if we are not good some days, and if we are not good like half of day, but still if we want and we stand again, and if you see, okay, I have this and this fault, but I'm still want you, I want to obtain Radha and Krishna and this love, then this is what is like most important. So yeah, somehow to summarize, I would say that association and someone senior, spiritually senior, is like the most important thing. And about second question, when I think that if we are doing some spiritual activities, we can really feel this energy. We have like on Golakadam many volunteers who are coming, and they don't know anything about Krishna consciousness. They just come here and they join the kirtan, they eat prasadam, associate with us here in the forest and with Radha Madan Mohan, and they never saw deity, something like that, but they feel there is some special energy here. So at least if we cannot feel anything, we can feel that some special energy exists. And my spiritual master also says, like, sometimes we cannot see God, we cannot perceive him, but we can see his hand in our lives. So we can also see, I think that someone is like how to say, like taking us, and that in the way that we are like not alone, that someone is taking care about us, and that we are followed, that we are following somehow. I don't know how to express, sorry, but yeah, in the way that that God's hand is always somewhere, and in kirtan, in japa, maybe in, I don't know which activities you like. For Karuna Shakti is probably cooking. we can feel this. Like that, it's not like some like mundane activity. There is something special. So I hope that helps. And yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji, for
Thank you.
encouraging answer, Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
And that, by the way, was Shumit, who is also a Bengali, and that fits very nicely to the verse that, or the quote that you mentioned, that Bengalis and Western people, white-skinned people, will one day be together singing in kirtan and coming and meeting and congregating to worship Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which back at the time when Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote it was more or less unthinkable. Was even the Gaudiya Vaishnavism wasn't even very popular in India at that time, not to speak of the Western countries, and it was not easy, but we're somehow here with the help of modern day technology, and modern day technology enables you to ask questions also. So if you have a question, you can unmute yourselves by clicking onto the microphone icon somewhere in the corner, and then you can just speak if you want to. Otherwise, we will conclude this session. So I don't think there are any questions left. With that, we thank you very much, Madanalasa. That was so nice. It was very nice to see you again and to have you with us. Nika Shabanti says, thank you, Madanalasa. And I also thank you, and I thank the participants of this meeting, mostly regular visitors, regular participants. Also, I can see one person who's unfamiliar to me, Matthias. He seems to be new to our meetings. Welcome. We hope to see you again next week. We will have, as I said, Krishna Kshetra Swami with us. Probably will be more participants then. And with that, I wish you a pleasant evening and a good night. Hare Krishna.
Many thanks. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.